it's Tommy Jo from Bird Street Studio, and I'm here to do my interpretation of Roxy's weekly challenge, week number 28. The previous week we made, she just made marks, marking on paper or whatever with watercolors or whatever, and then I went ahead and did some extras with some Crayola markers, bearing in mind that my thought with a lot of these were that I have those two journals that I'm trying to collect stuff for. One is a bee journal and one is an Asian journal. And what Rachel did was she took a book page and she put them together, and then she collaged a bunch of neutral papers onto that. Well, I don't have a bunch of neutral papers like she had. So what I opted to do is I'm going to use book page and music page as part of my neutrals. So, and some craft paper, and I have a bag of neutral scraps that I use, and I'm not going to be able to use all of it, but maybe some of it. And I do have one page of lined coffee dyed paper that I thought I could use. But what I'm going to do for my base is I just have a book that came in the mail, a booklet that came in the mail. And I thought, I don't know what's going on out there, so if it gets bad, I'll just excuse myself for a minute. I thought I would just take a page out of here and use that as a base. And then I'm not going to back mine. She took coffee dyed paper, covered it, and then the back of it, she didn't back hers. I think I saw Gail Agostinelli do her rendition and she backed hers. But I'm not going to back mine. I want to get this staple out before somebody gets hurt. I'm not going to back mine until I use the ephemera, because we're going to end up collaging. Then we're going to cut it up into make some ephemera. So I'm just going to take this paper and use it as a start, you know, like as a base. So basically, we're going to the first thing we're going to do is get our glue stick, our glue book, and our neutral papers right here. Okay, am I on camera? Yes. And my glue stick. And I'm just going to start collaging neutral papers onto here. So I don't really want any of the offcuts here in the margin. I'll use those as neutral scraps, so I'll save those. And I usually don't keep any verbiage of anything here, but I think that it's not going to make a difference if I'm just collaging it on here, so I think I'm not going to worry about it. Some of it will get covered anyways. My on camera here with my glue book here. So with these challenges, I made a decision way back when I started that I was not going to try to do every single week if it wasn't something that I thought I could use, you know, make for my ephemera pile or box or stash. If I didn't think I would use it, I wasn't going to even do that challenge. And so far, it's really taken off a lot of stress. So I just do the weeks where I think I'll use it. So I'm just going to take this piece and kind of break it up and collage it on here. Oh, this is going to curl unless I back it, I think. I don't know. because this is a pretty thin piece of paper. Well, we'll see what happens when we go. Anyways, I've enjoyed doing the challenges when, you know, when it's something I think that I will use. And this music paper in particular is extremely thin. It's out of a hymnal. And we have a couple more pieces we could use. So I hope that everybody's doing well and that you're being crafty. This morning I went to the gym and then came home and did some computer work that I had to do. And then I swam, went in the pool, swam a little bit. Mostly I just play with the puppies while they're in there. And swim a little bit, get some exercises in or whatever. But it was a lot of fun. And then I came in, what did I do after that? Oh, I came in here and did a little crafting, and I did a little crafting and then made dinner and watched some television for a little while, and now it's evening time and I'm in the studio. Actually, it's 8:30 and the puppies are getting ready to go to bed. So let's see what we have in here. We've got some book page here. I think I'll be able to fill this up, I hope. I know that Rachel had a lot of different neutral papers, which I just don't have a lot. So I hope I can at least fill this up. When we get done collaging this, we're going to add our papers with markings on it, and then we'll cut it up, you know, like blind cut it. How fun. And yeah, this is pretty thin paper. This is funny. This is thin and the other paper is pretty thin. I think I don't want all this on there. So anyways, it was nice out today. It wasn't real hot. So the pool was actually quite nice. I have this like test to see. It doesn't matter. The temperature, when I moved down here to Florida for the second time, I I could have gone in, I don't know, pretty cold water and I would have thought it was great. Then when I moved down here with the pool, same thing. You know, it was like you move from somewhere where you have cold weather and you know, it doesn't matter. The pool can be in the 70s and whatever. You just go in, you know. Then, after a couple years, you get very acclimated to this weather, and you all of a sudden you can't go in the pool if it's, you know, below a certain temperature. Well, I've gotten up to where I don't go in unless it's about 84 to 86 usually. And how I test that is when I'm stepping in the steps to get in the pool. If let me see, maybe I need to come out just a little. If I, you know how you kind of touch cold water and you go, well, if I do that twice, then it's too cold. Okay, let's see. How about if we use some of this lined coffee dyed paper? Oh, maybe we'll put that right there. So that's how I test the water. So it almost really doesn't make a difference what the temperature is, other than I won't even test it unless it's close to 84. Let's see what we got here. I think we could. I turned the TV on out in the living room for the puppies, and now it seems like it's very loud. Like when I go to the gym, I have to make sure I have the TV on so that they feel like there's talking going on here. Maybe we'll put a little craft paper on here. We'll put this right down here. I don't want to have a lot of like pieces of scraps left. That's why I'm trying to use the whole pieces of whatever I'm ripping up. Because I don't want to hold on to a whole bunch of scraps. Trying to get rid of scraps. Oh, we're getting there, we're getting there. Let's see. I was all nervous because, well, you probably, if you follow my channel, you saw that I made that journal for my great nephew. And she got home from, they had gone to a family reunion or something, and they got home. And I said, did you, you know, it says it was delivered to the front porch. And she said, nope, there was nothing there. So I was kind of freaking out a little bit. Just a little. And I think I'm just going to put this right across here. Oh no, because I have this here. Maybe I'll do this. Oh yeah, I'll come right down there. So I was kind of freaking out. And the reason I was freaking out was originally I tracked it and it said it left Melbourne, that's where I live. And after a couple of days, it said it was in Arizona and it was going to North Carolina. They live in North Carolina, and it said it had gotten to Arizona. So when she said she didn't receive it, and it said it had been delivered to her in North Carolina, I was freaking just a little tiny bit. And so naturally I said, you know, she doesn't have a lot of entrances to her house where they would possibly leave it. That's undercover. Her front porch is the best place to leave it. So anyways, I said, check with your neighbors, maybe. And she said one of the neighbors must have put it in the garage because it was in the garage. It was like, oh my heck. Good, 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 good. I'm going to just trim this off so that it'll be straight. And I'm going to put it right over here. Maybe I'll put it this way. Oh, yeah, I guess I'll put it like that. Anyway, so I was kind of freaking a little, but I'm glad that it's there. And his birthday is actually August 3rd. So I'm just so glad that they got it in time for his birthday. And I went ahead and put that video up that you guys probably saw, the flip through, because he doesn't really watch my YouTube channel. If she tells him to watch, he would watch, but he, you know, he doesn't really watch. He gets on his iPad and he's just a busy little boy. Okay, let's see what else we have for neutrals. See if I have anything different in here that I could use. Kind of the same thing. There's some speckled paper. We could use some of that. I just don't want straight edges if it's not on a straight edge. I think we could put that right there. I don't know how this is going to come out, so we will soon see, right? I have one more piece I think I could put in here, maybe. Maybe we can put it in two small places and catch a couple of different pieces, right? Like this one, maybe we could put right here. Maybe I'll do it this way. Like that. Okay, so we've got some space here, 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 and here. And I think we could do maybe a piece of this here. And since we've got lined paper here and lined paper here and lined paper here and lined paper here, but I do have this little piece that I would like to put somewhere. I'm going to stick it right there just to use it up, because maybe I'll put it the lighter side up and it'll look a little different. There we go. And let's see, we could use some book page up here, I think. Let's see what we have. Or I think I have. That'll work. See, just turning the text the other way makes it look like it's a different piece of paper. I think we can get away with something up there if I make a straight edge, make a corner. Well, that wasn't a very good corner, was it? Let's try this corner. Let's get this piece off. Okay. Yeah, I just don't want the text going the same direction here. So maybe if we turn it this way, I'm going to cut this to be straight or a little bit straighter, and we'll try that. I'm not sure what he's barking at, but Okay, so we need something right here. And I think we could do that. Normally I would take off this piece right here that has a lot of nothing space on it there, but to fill it up, I think I'll leave it on there. We've got need a piece here and a piece here. So I think maybe if we turn that upside down. And when we cut these out, not all the same paper will be on the same piece of ephemera. So I guess it doesn't really matter too much. I'm going to put that there. And then we'll find a small piece to fill in that area. And while I'm doing this, if you look and see if there's any spots that need paper, you let me know. This has got paper on it, even though these places look blank. It's got speckled paper on it. And I think this is the only place right here. So let's see if I have something in here. Actually, we could get away with a piece of just coffee dyed paper, I think, or how about a piece of this? I think that'll work. I think that'll do it. Okay. And I'm just gonna tear the edges so it's not straight. Okay, so let's move this off. Let's move this out of the way. I'm going to put our book pages over here and get our neutrals out, or excuse me, get our marked papers. So we want our marked papers out. Okay, and we want to start putting some papers on here, and I think I'm gonna try to stick with, I have a lot of marked papers that look like they would go with like the bee journal more. Like this end looks like it could, this could kind of go in the Asian journal, but I'm not sure. So let's start with, like, I think these would go good in the bee journal. So let's, and I'm going to just rip the edges. And all we're going to do now at this point is add some of these papers with markings onto here to bring it some color to it. And I'm kind of thinking, and in my mind, what I'm thinking is if I make a tag, it's usually about 5 to 5.5 inches by 3 inches. So I want to make sure that about every 3 inches I've got something on here that's like got color. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Let's put this one right here. I think these are going to come out fun. Might make me want to do more like this. We'll do it right here. Anyways, what else is going on here? I'm trying to think. Nothing much. When the puppies go in the pool, though, it means that the next day, I can't really brush them when they're wet because they don't do the blow dryer here. I guess the groomer does it, but I don't see it. I don't see how they act there. So, but they don't do the blow dryer well here, so I have to wait until they're totally dry, and then brushing them out, oh my heck. It's not an easy task. So that's in store for tomorrow. Let's do one right over here. Okay, let's pick one more here. I kind of like this one here. And I have, when I was young and couldn't afford it, I always wanted to travel to Greece. Then I got older and I got a little nervous about traveling. And I've been, you know, places in the U.S. I've been to Puerto Rico. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Canada. But I have not, like, been overseas. My sister married a guy from Turkey. So her and her kids have been over to Turkey and Greece and that quite a bit throughout their lives. And I just never have. But for some reason, I have it in my head that I want to go to Lisbon, Portugal. Now, I don't even have a passport, because back when I traveled around, you didn't need a passport. That's how long it's been, but you didn't need a passport. So, I never got one. And I was looking online, and just a passport, just to start the process, like $197. You all probably don't think that's probably a big deal, but for me, that's a huge deal. I'm going to break this one up into 2 skinnier pieces. Anyways, I think it's time for me to get one, because I can't get it out of my head that that's where I think I would love to go. Where am I going to put this? Oh, maybe we'll put it right over here. And then put this one maybe right here. I don't know what it is about it. I also would like to go to Italy, but the problem I have is I do not want to go like to Rome or to Venice or whatever. I'd like to go to Calabria, which is where my family is originated, you know? So, well, this looks kind of cool. Let me just see, do we want to add anything else in here? Anyways, I think I would like to go to Calabria. But anyways, so I have it in my head that I want to go to Portugal. So I'm looking up Portugal, the Azores, and they have this, some sort of a tour I saw. I'd have to look it up again. But like you actually get there and you drive from one place in Portugal to another. It's like you tour, you know, you're like touring around, and you spend a couple days here and a couple days there, and they tell you things that you can see, and you know how long it takes to do them and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, I think I would love that. So I don't know if that's going to be my next little journey. Now remember, this is just adding color to these. It's not our focal points. We'll have focal points in here. I really think this needs something in here. Nope. But something right here, I think. I'm gonna put this there. And so when we get done with this, I think maybe I'll put it right here. Okay. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if we need more or not. So what we can do is we can always add more once we cut it. I don't think Rachel did, but you know, I could do whatever I want, right? Okay, so we're all filled in. We've got our marked papers on there, and we're going to do some blind cutting. So the first thing I want to do is measure what I have here. So this is about 10 3/4. So if I took a 3-inch strip, I could make that into 2 tags. Let's do this side because I haven't seen it. So we want to do, oh no, I want to turn it around. Okay. So we want to do this side, and we're going to make 2 3-inch tags or thereabouts, right? So those are 3. And then we want to, and this is, there's no exact science to this. It's 10 3/4. I want 5 It's actually 10 and 1, 2, 3/4. So I want about 5 and 3/16. So, something like that. Let's see, 5 and 1, 2, 3/16. They may not be exact, but they'll be close. And we'll make those 2 tags. Then we also could do, we do the same width, but we do a little wider. We do 4 1/2. Or maybe 4 1/4. Let's do 4 1/4. And we'll divide these in half and make journaling cards. So we want 5 and 1. 1, 2, 3. We'll make these journaling cards. So we got tags, we got journaling cards. We want to make either pockets or a belly band. So if we do 8 1/4, tall, let me see. I'm just trying to utilize the paper as best I can. So I do 8 1/4 tall. That's only going to give me a little skinny piece. But if I do 8 1/4 here, that'll give me about 2 inches. So let's do 8 1/4 right here. I want to turn it this way. First thing I want to do is just straighten this real quick. Okay, so we're going to do 8 1/4. 8 1/4. And we want to go by 3, and that'll make us a belly band, a tall belly band. 8 1/4 by 3. Okay, 8 1/4 by 3 will also make us a pocket, like a side pocket, although okay, this made, okay, this is a belly band. Yeah, we could make a side pocket. Let's do that. Okay. And then this one I'm going to square off and make just some skinnier tags, I think. Okay, so these are going to be, they're 9 1/4, so I need 4 1/2 and about 4 3/8, maybe something like that. And these will be just smaller tags. Although if I do 5 1/4, I could make a horizontal belly band, right? That'll be a belly band, and this could be a smaller tag. And then this one, it's about 3 inches. It's a little over 3 inches, so let's just cut this baby into tags. Or journaling cards, right? Smaller journaling cards. Yep, let's do a little over 4. We'll make some smaller journaling cards. Okay, so now we get to turn them over and look and see how we did. Okay, and we'll trim them out. So these are two of the first journaling cards, and I want to round the corners, and I can sew these, but I want to round the corners first. My thumb is pretty sore, so I need to glue that a little better. So using this little corner rounder is kind of hard on my hand. We're going to just go ahead and round these. Okay, and then we'll make these journaling cards as well. They'll just be smaller. Right? So I love these. They're kind of neutral, but there's color on them. I think these are going to be cool for the bee journal. Okay, and these we decided are tags. Oh my gosh, look at these. Ah, love. Okay, so let's cut this into tags. So we cut this, then we turn it over, and we cut the other side. And again, I'm going to sew around these, but I also, on my tags, I do like to round the corners at the bottom because they go in the pockets easier that way. And so this one, these turned out pretty cool. So there's another tag. And then this one's a little tag. And what I'm looking is this verbiage is, I want the wording to be right side up, but it doesn't really make a difference. But if I don't totally cover it, it might look a little odd. So we'll just make sure it's right side up. Okay, so there's another tag. And then, oh my gosh, we have a horizontal belly band, which I don't need to do anything to because we'll put a focal point on it, right? And then we've got a belly band and a pocket. And I think this would make a cool belly band. And I don't need to do anything to that other than sew it. So we're good there. These will go in my sewing pile. And then this one, honestly, I think I might want a little more color right there. Like maybe not that way, maybe this way. Or let's do this and this. I think I like that. Just adding a little tiny bit more color where this is kind of all neutral here, which we can do because it's ours. We can do whatever we want, right? Okay, and then this one, I'll just put like that. Just adding a little color. And then what I'm going to do then is cut a notch. So if I, depending on what side I'm going to make that pocket, I don't know, let's just cut it right here. And I want the middle, so it's about 8 1/4. So we want 4 1/8, which is right about here. So So if I make that about the center, like right there, then we've got a thumb notch. And if we distress this, so this is a cool idea for making ephemera, especially if you make marks with the colors that you're going to use in your journals. If you have a journal in mind, like I did, I specifically picked colors that would match the journals that I was working on. Then you have ephemera for those journals. So we are right at about 50 minutes. And I think that'll do it. I think that I'm not going to decorate them yet, but I will put these in my journals. I have to back these, so I'll back them before I sew them. And the same with these. These I don't have to back. So I'm going to go ahead and put these over here so I can back and then sew them. And I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you try it. So I'm excited. I love these. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to my subscribers, past, present, and future. I surely appreciate you. The channel's growing, and I just love it. So I will see you all in the next video, everybody. Bye-bye.